Hey everybody, we got the Darkhold kits revealed. In this video, I'm just going to quickly give my thoughts on some of the ability, the changes, the team makeup, how I'm looking at the team, and then at the end, I'm going to give you guys a little treat. Somebody reached out to me. This person has been pretty accurate with rumors in the past, and they're suggesting they know there's a tech team coming, when and who. We'll jump into that at the end of the video, and of course, there'll be timestamps if you want to jump ahead. But just quickly going over the kits, we'll start with probably the most disappointing member of the team, Scarlet Witch. Super sad to say. Iconic character, the most popular female lead in the MCU right now. Deserves so much more love, but there's still hope. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Anyway, she had a stat increase. Most notably, she now has armor, so that's pretty good. She was at 0 armor. Her basic, pretty much the same as before, though now if she's not at full energy, she does 50% more damage, and it gives offense down, defense down, and slow, similar to Scarlet Spider, who does that in raids, but she'll do it everywhere, so that's pretty dope. And we did have word that a lot of these characters' basic attacks will go over to their ISO attack. Can't remember who off the top of my head, but I think it might have been everybody. So it's going to be very interesting on who we go as Raider, Striker, and Skirmisher. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see any Skirmisher, Healers, or Fortifighters. I think it's going to be all Raiders and Strikers. We'll see. I don't want to make any predictions, given that, you know, we haven't seen anything live yet. We don't know speeds. We don't know their damage stats. So we'll stay tuned for that. Anyway, her reality warp, or warp reality ability, pretty much the same as before, though it gives deflex and defense up. We'll see later in the kit that that doesn't really matter, unfortunately. And then her ultimate, very cool. It extends everything. It can extend trauma, so she does have a lot of value in that one ability alone. And now, apply defense down to all enemies, and it's unavoidable. That's pretty cool. Now here's where I hold out hope for this iconic character, that if they haven't written her off yet, they shouldn't. Do not write Scarlet Witch off. She's Scarlet Witch. She's the No More Mutants mouth. The iconic scene. Anyway, I digress. We don't know what her passive change is going to be. Didn't include it in the blog. Hopefully that means they're keeping that as like a super big, yeah, Scarlet Witch empowered, super cool. Otherwise, if it's 0 changes, ugh, that's not great. It could be no changes. That would suck. Anyway, next let's look at Wong. Again, very, very interesting basic attack if it is applied on the ISO attack, clearing one negative effect from him and his whole team. Then there's his special. You can use this on turn 1 if you want. It looks like a very, very strong attack. I'm going to be interested to see Wong's damage stat. If he is this like huge damage source, he might be eating people out the gate right away, especially since it ignores defense up. Depending on his speed, if he goes after Scarlet Witch, puts defense down on everybody, that could be huge. Oh my god, I don't want to read books, guys. Don't read books. Okay, anyway, this is going to be a huge buff, transfer, copy, flip, negate, so much buff stuff. Very, very cool attack. You can use it turn 1. This is how he gets taunt. It also does damage. It does barrier. It gives him safeguard if there's a Doctor Strange. We did get word if you have both Doctor Strange on the same team, he's still only going to get 1 safeguard. So, you know, keep that in mind. And it cannot be dodged. Very strong ability. Probably going to be his opener attack, though this special looks very tasty with the damage. I think you're going to want that taunt up. And then his passive. His passive kind of negates a lot of what Scarlet Witch does. Same with something that Agatha does, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Talking about Scarlet Witch's special. So on spawn, he gives defense up for 2 turns. Scarlet Witch's special gave defense up. Don't really need it if you have it for 2 turns, unless these matchups are going for like 4 or 5 turns, right? On turn, if this character has any Darkhold allies, have any amount of barrier, so if they have any barrier, he's going to give them 1 deflect up to a maximum of 3 to those characters. When an enemy attacks a Darkhold ally, he's going to counterattack 3 times for 50% piercing damage. The reason 3 times for 50 is a lot better than just 1 time for 150 is it peels through deflex and it peels through death proofs. So that's very interesting. Now, similar to Echo, who doesn't do that attack when she has blind, Wong won't do it with ability block. Kind of interesting. I think there's going to be better targets to use ability block on, but the fact that this will negate those retaliates might be something that you have to take into effect. And when this character drops below 30% health, he's going to clear taunt. Similar to Miss Marvel, he gains armor, he gives armor. Pretty straightforward on that part of the passive. Everything else is kind of crazy though, right? These kits are insane. Speaking of insane kits, it's very, very appropriate that Agatha is like the Darkhold master on this team because her kit is a book. Enough stupid jokes. So she's going to attack the primary target. She's going to deal piercing damage. Very cool. We'll see what her damage set is, right? She's like a little frail old lady. Is the one they went with, so I don't know if her damage set will be crazy, but piercing damage is very interesting. If the primary target is Mystic, it's going to deal additional 5% of the target's max health. And here's some more stuff that kind of takes away the value of that Scarlet Witch special. She's going to apply 1 deflect up to a maximum of 3 to self and Darkhold allies. If this is on her ISO attack and she's doing that deflect basically on all her turns, that's kind of crazy. And Scarlet Witch special won't really be doing much. Anyway, it'll also call 1 random adjacent Darkhold ally to attack the primary target, giving them 50% increased damage. Very, very cool. And here comes an arena shoutout, and we're only going to see 2 arena shoutouts on this team. This team is not just an arena team. This team is going to be what the Infinity Watch was last year, probably lasting for about a year or two. They're going to be the best team in all modes. Obviously not in war, offense, defense kind of thing, but they're going to be that, like, they're the best team. I don't know how to say it. You know, Infinity Watch, they're your go-to team if you need to beat a tower team. They're your go-to team for instant blitz wins. Same kind of deal here. I'm giving bad examples, but I think you guys understand where I'm going with. Anyway, in Arena, she'll call 2 random adjacent Darkhold allies to attack the primary target. So obviously, you're not going to have her on a corner. She'll be in one of the middle positions. Next, we're going to look at her special. So you can use this turn 1 if you'd like. She's going to attack the primary target for 250% damage and apply slow. Very interesting things happen with slow on this team, especially in her attack right here. If the primary target has slow, bonus attack and apply stun. If it has stun, we're going to bonus attack and prolong duration of negative effects, except for ability block and stun. For my money, if I had the choice to prolong like a bunch of slows, defense up, offense down, or I could stun a different target, I'm going to stun the other target every single time. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out in the mirror matchup, because that's what we're thinking, right? When we're looking at this kit, we're thinking mirror matchup all the way, because it's probably what we're going to be doing for the next 6 to 8 months in Arena. Anyway, her ultimate you can also use this turn 1. She attacks all enemies 3 times for 100% piercing damage. Applies heal block and offense down for 2 turns to all enemies. So like the Silver Surfer ultimate, but also with the offense down. Here comes the big middle finger to the Eternals. She's going to stun the Hero Mystic Blaster with the highest damage and stun the Hero Mystic Controller with the highest damage. They shouldn't have put Hero Mystic Blaster. They should have just put Stun Enemy Icarus and Stun Enemy Cersei there, because that's what this is. Obviously, it'll apply in the mirror matchup with Doctor Strange Heartless as well, but this is just the way to say Eternals, see you later. Get out of here. She's going to heal self and all her allies for 35% of her max health. Very big heal. She's going to apply Barrier to her and all her allies for 30% of her max health. So right out the gate, you're doing this big damage, heal block, offense down. You're healing yourself. You're giving yourself a bunch of barrier. She's kind of an insane character kit-based wise. And it looks like her health is going to be very important. So you're going to want to have some pretty good stars on her. And here's another very cool thing that actually makes me very happy for War. She gains 2 ability energy for each mystic enemy up to a maximum of 6. So, in Dormammu teams that have Eternals on them, or even just Dormammu teams in general, she's going to get a bunch of ability energy back. And it does look like there's going to be ways that this team can beat out mystic speed comps, right? We're going to see that on Morgan Le Fay's kit. So we'll talk about that when we get there. Anyway, this attack gains 50% extra focus for each mystic enemy. And not just focus there, she also gets focus on her passive, I believe, and gives focus too. Yes, she does. Here's another big page of text for us to dive into. So she's going to get 2 death proof on spawn. That leads me to believe she's going to be pretty squishy, which makes sense as the frail old lady, right? At the end of any turn, if this character has taunt, gain stealth. So if Cersei happens for whatever reason to get her ultimate off and give that taunt, I believe that's what it does, she's just going to stealth it off. She gets 50% focus and gives that to her team. Same with 25% drain. Huge gains. Love that. Love that part of her passive. When this character or any Darkhold ally drops below 30% life for the first time only, she says, no, get off my character. She's going to clear, disrupt, flip negative effects, apply defense up in stealth, and then do a barrier. So it's like, okay, you got them low. Now they're going to heal up. Now you're going to have to get them low again, and then you can kill them from there. And here comes a very interesting part for when enemies drop. So she's protecting her allies, and then she's like damning her enemies. So she's going to attack the target for 100% piercing, flip 3 positive effects into negatives, so a bunch of regens can become bleeds, death proof can become, I think that's also bleeds, speed up, slow, just a crazy kind of like death sentence. Applies disrupt, and then she's actually also going to give her Darkhold allies 1 deflect. So again, deflects coming in from all kinds of sources not named Scarlet Witch. Then we look at Doctor Strange. He's going to be a nice breath of fresh air. His kit is not very confusing. He attacks primary target, flips some positive effects, and cannot be blocked. I hope this is an ISO attack. He'll probably be a striker if that's the case. That cannot be blocked part does a lot of work in the mirror matchup, because we see all the deflect sources coming from everywhere, but also in war when we have boosted teams. So I really like to see that on this character. And he is a blaster too. So he's going to copy and clear 2 positive effects, deal a bunch of damage, and here comes the speed manipulation. Yes, we're starting to get into it. He's going to apply slow for 2 turns and reduce speed bar by 25%. Speed bar is going to be how we win the mirror matchup, win a bunch of matchups. So it's going to be very important to know how we use these abilities. So we'll talk about that when it goes live and we can actually play with these guys. If charged, we haven't seen how he gets charged yet. We'll see that in the next ability. Copy and clear all positive effects from the primary target. Gain 500% focus. So this is a 3 of 3. You're probably going to use it on the opener. It will not have charged. But the next time you use it, after the ultimate, it will. And here's the ultimate. It's a turn 3 ability, if I'm reading this correctly. And he's going to gain 3 charge from it, which is going to apply to the special which you just read and his passive, which we'll get into in a second. He's going to attack for 300 damage. That's no big deal, right? Whatever. But then he's also going to attack for 50% additional damage per positive and negative effect on self and primary target. That can be so much damage with all the deflects, defense up, safe. Like this Doctor Strange Heartless is going to get so many buffs. And then you think about the enemy Doctor Strange Heartless in the mirror matchup who can have so many buffs. This is going to be an absolutely devastating attack. I love this mechanic, similar to Shang-Chi's ultimate. You know, you pick a target with a bunch of buffs, and it's actually going to increase your damage. And this one is buffs and debuffs. I think we're going to see some crazy screenshot numbers of the damage here, especially since he's a blaster. And then his passive. His passive is pretty lengthy. So on turn, if charged, he's going to heal for 20% health, and he's going to lose a charge. At the end of any Darkhold ally turn, he's going to barrier that character for 15% of max health. If charged, instead he's going to barrier the entire team for 15% max health. On enemy death, he gains offense up. If he already had offense up, so if he killed one target and you kill another target right after it, he's also going to gain speed up, bringing him closer and closer to that devastating ultimate that's probably going to be the game winner. And here's kind of a crazy thing. He gains 50% crit, chance, and damage and gives that to his team. Absolutely devastating. And now, last but not least, we have Morgan Le Fay, the legendary. She is now, I guess, confirmed 3-star from that Marvel Strike Force video. So keep that in mind, that everybody should have access to this team, assuming that, you know, the characters are unlockable free to play. I believe she is for players who have been playing for a while. That benchmark was geared to her 13, so I don't think you need to be too worried. Anyway, her basic, very interesting. Okay. She's going to steal 10% health, similar to Morbius and Omega Red. Those characters, we really like them as Striker. They do bleeds. They have that super strong health steal and drain and everything like that. But Morgan Le Fay also does a lot of crit things. We'll talk about that in a minute. So as we've seen, we've now looked at all 5 characters' basics. Lots of interesting things happening on the basic. So we need to decide who's going to be Strikers. Now, when it comes to live, we're going to be determining. I already want to do Strange, but we're going to have to figure out who we want to be utilizing that extra ISO attack. Anyway, it just makes me pause because, yeah, it just does. She's going to copy and clear 2 positive effects, excluding Taunt. And on crit, she's going to copy and clear all positive effects, excluding Taunt. Very, very strong basic, but you need to crit for that effect to take hold. Time Warp, this is a turn 2 ability. This is crazy. This is a crazy amount of speed manipulation. She's going to reduce speed bar for self and allies and enemies for 100%. Obviously she's not just going to reduce speed bar for herself and her allies. She's going to do it for the entire field. She's going to clear all positive effects from enemies. So if they have speed up, nope, they now have nothing. She's going to clear all negative effects themselves. So if you had slow, nope, that's gone. She heals for 100% of her max health, deals 10% of her max health as damage, and then she gives speed up to herself and all her Darkhold allies along with immunity. So basically, in the mirror matchup, in my head, it could play out differently. You get to use this ability first. You're taking everything off them, assuming they don't have safeguard. You're giving yourself speed up. You're probably going to have a way to give them slows, and you're just going to take a bunch of turns until they're dead, which is a super powerful ability. I love the idea of using this turn 1 with some interesting characters like a Star-Lord or a Shuri or whoever else can give energy. Yeah, I'm very excited about this ability outside of just Arena. And it is unavoidable, so that's very cool. Now let's look at the ultimate. The ultimate is her turn 1 ability without kind of any energy battery. And it's also very strong and very interesting. So she's going to clear immunity from the primary target, who is a very difficult to kill character who kind of runs Arena and runs wars. That starts with immunity, and you need to get that immunity off him. Dormammu. So this is a big FU to Dormammu, similar to how Agatha was a big FU to the Eternals. Morgan seems to be the Dormammu answer that I, as a very big war player, am super happy to see. So she attacks primary and adjacent targets, extra crit chance, apply disrupt and slow to the primary target. So not only are we peeling that immunity off, which comes first, we're going to give disrupt. We need to give disrupt to a character like Dormammu before he gets stealth and that safeguard. Love, love, love this ability. Spread all negative effects from the primary target to the adjacent target. This will not spread stun or ability block. Here's where it gets a little iffy. We're going to apply trauma and ability block to all controller enemies. Dormammu is a controller. He actually likes getting ability block because then he's going to gain, I think, 85% speed bar. So he basically takes his second turn almost immediately. So basically, if we're going to use her against Dormammu, we're going to get disrupt on him as well as slow. Probably try and turn me to rewind him with Doctor Strange, and then we're going to kill him before he gets to use his basic. Otherwise, he's going to turn right around and use his special. I digress. We're going to flip 2 positive effects into negative effects on all non-controller enemies. So not just are we messing with controllers with that trauma and ability block, we're flipping effects on all non-controller enemies. Here's another crazy speed bar manipulation. We're going to reduce speed bar of all enemies that do not have any negative effects by 30%. But you got to read that carefully. They cannot have negative effects. So if this is a turn 1, then we're going to be doing that to a lot of people, right? However, it sounds like if characters, because this happens so late in the text, if they spawn with positive effects, instead we're flipping those. So they're not going to get 30% speed decrease. If we're using this on Dormammu, it doesn't sound like he's going to get that because we're going to have put disrupted and slow on him, hopefully. So we're going to see how this plays out. It could just be worded in the wrong spot here. Depending on how it's coded, this could be like the absolute death sentence for Dormammu if that speed bar happens before the disrupt. Very interesting to see how that's going to play out. And it cannot be dodged. Cool. And now her passive, very, very long passive as well. She gains barrier on spawn. Cool. She gains safeguard for her and her entire team on spawn. Cool. Well, I guess that means that if she goes before the enemy Morgana in the mirror matchup, they're gonna, I believe they spawn with immunity, if I'm not mistaken, or they're gonna get it. Anyway, it sounds like she's gonna be rewinding people very nicely. On spawn, fill speed bar by 5% per mystic enemy, up to 20%. So that's 4 mystic enemies. That makes me think how we're going to focus in the arena when we're attacking. Maybe we're only going to take 3 Darkhold members, 3 Mystic members, and sub in 2 non-Mystic members so we get that speed bar advantage. Could be completely off. We're going to have to see how the speed plays out, how everything else plays out on live, but that's kind of where my head goes to when I see that. Speed is king in the game, so you want to try and make sure you're going first. Anyway, on enemy turn, you're going to fill speed bar by 10% for yourself and all Darkhold allies. Crazy ability. You're going to lower the assist chance for all enemies by 25% per Darkhold ally. Absolutely love this. So in their kit so far, Agatha says, screw you Eternals. Morgan says, screw you Dormammu. And now again, Morgan says, screw you Infinity Watch. I'll see you guys in the Tower Infinity Watch. Because now I have 3 answers to you. I got the Mirror Match, Young Avengers, and now the Darkhold. Though, I'm terrified to fight these guys in Tower. I feel like they're going to be a problem. And she does some of the regular things. 50% extra health for her and her entire team. 100% resistance for her and her entire team. And in Arena, so this is the second shoutout to Arena. This team only has 2 Arena shoutouts. They're going to be phenomenal in all game modes. She gains 30% max barrier, and her team also gains 30% max barrier. Now, something I'm not normally known for, we're going to do a little bit of speculation here. Because I did get reached out by somebody who has given me, let's say, accurate information in the past concerning game modes, and they basically told me how Mega Red was going to be unlocked a month before it happened. So I'm tempted to believe this person. Is very interesting information. They're saying the text team is coming next patch, so not the Darkhold patch, but the one after that. And they even told me some of the members. We got Hulkbuster coming in. This has been a rumor for a while now. I like this idea. However, I don't like how it kind of means Iron Man's not going to get a rework, because I don't see them putting Iron Man and Hulkbuster on the same team. Doesn't make sense, because Tony Stark, in both senses, I know other people have flown him like Hulk did in the MCU and everything, but it's an Iron Man suit. It's a girthy Iron Man suit. So what I'm kind of hoping is that this is actually just an empowered mode. That'd be much cooler. I hope they go that route. Anyway, after Hulkbuster, we have Deathlok coming in. You might remember him from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. He was the guy with the centipede on him. They gave him powers, and he basically became a cyborg. Very cool. I think he was also in the X-Men animated series for a couple episodes. Love this character. Obviously, he's tech as a cyborg. Very, very cool. So those are 2 new characters, apparently. We get Ironheart. She's going to be getting a little bit of a rework. Probably going to be giving that defense up on spawn to everybody, not just power armor, or at least to this new team, whatever they call it. Maybe they'll be naming it after her show. I'm not actually sure what her show is going to be called, but I am looking forward to it. I'm super excited about this because I have a 6 red star Ironheart. And then the last person that was rumored to me was Vivian, a daughter of Vision. Cool. That's cool, right? She's dope. She is in the comics. She actually shares a comic with Ironheart, which makes this make a little bit more sense. They are a love interest, I believe, at some point, which is pretty cool. But it kind of takes away the potential of a WandaVision team, which I guess Scarlet Witch being with the Darkhold, she's the most replaceable, already kind of takes away the WandaVision family kind of team idea. Anyway, I digress. Vivian, she's a very cool character, very similar to Vision and everything that he does, but she's not the only sibling. Now, this is the rumors that they told me. They said that they're looking at maybe having Iron Man being the 5th. It's probably going to be a character we already have, so Iron Man makes sense in that regard, not in the sense that we have Hulkbuster. But there's another option, because Vivian has a twin brother, and he is the thing of nightmares. Look at this monstrosity of a character. I don't want Vin. Vivian's cool. Viv is cool. Vin is terrifying. The thing of nightmares. I don't want to have to play with him every day. Please don't make me play with him every day. Anyway, guys, that's what I got for you today. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about the Darkhold team. Do you think they look overpowered? Do they look underwhelming? Do you also hate the Scarlet Witch rework? Because I certainly do. And let me know what you think about that tech team. Pretty interesting idea. I think they're going to stick with that formula where we get 3 new characters, 2 reworks. We've responded well to it in the past. It kind of encourages us to wail out on it a bit more since it's more manageable. I like it. I don't really know Deathlok as a character. I don't really know Vivian at all as a character. And I don't know who their 5th would be. But I hate tech, so I'll probably buy it. Anyway, guys, take care, have fun, enjoy the rest of your weekend, stay happy, healthy, and have fun. I said that already. Bye.